A franchise quarterback shouldn't have to double as a talent scout. But according to Colin Cowherd, that's exactly what's been happening in Cincinnati, and he's not holding back about what it says about the Bengals organization. Stick around, because this take is brutally honest. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down Colin Cowherd's fiery criticism of the Cincinnati Bengals front office and why he believes Joe Burrow deserves more credit as a scout than the actual scouting department. Let's get into it. Joe Burrow already carries an enormous amount of responsibility as the face of the Cincinnati Bengals franchise. But according to NFL analyst Colin Cowherd, Burrow is also unofficially serving as the team's best scout, and that's not exactly a compliment aimed at the organization. During Friday's episode of The Herd, Cowherd went after Bengals ownership and their personnel department for what he views as a continued failure to build a complete, competitive roster around their franchise quarterback. And he landed one particularly pointed blow that's generating plenty of conversation. Cowherd specifically pointed to Cincinnati's decision to select Marr with the 5th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Here's the context that makes this story interesting. Burrow knew Chase better than any professional evaluator in the building, thanks to their shared history helping LSU complete an undefeated national championship season back in 2019. According to Cowherd, Cincinnati was actually considering using that 5th overall pick on an offensive lineman before ultimately taking Chase instead. And Cowherd credited Burrow directly with pushing the organization toward the receiver who would go on to completely transform the Bengals' offense. He begged them to draft Marr, who was his teammate at LSU, Cowherd said. He begged them, so they don't have much of a scouting department, but their best scout appears to be Joe Burrow. Now, it's worth noting that Cowherd's version of this story is a bit more dramatic than what Burrow himself has previously described. Back in 2022, Burrow said he didn't explicitly demand that Cincinnati select Chase, though he confirmed the Bengals did include him in conversations surrounding that pick. Regardless of how forceful Burrow's actual influence was, the final decision could hardly have worked out better for the franchise. Chase quickly developed into one of the most dangerous receivers in the entire NFL, and he helped lead Cincinnati all the way to the Super Bowl during his very first rookie season. Burrow certainly deserves credit for understanding just how well that LSU connection would translate to the professional level. But Cowherd's larger point is that a quarterback having good instincts on one draft pick doesn't mean he should effectively become an unofficial member of the personnel department. Cowherd used the Chase selection as a launching pad for a much bigger criticism of how the Bengals operate their scouting infrastructure. He claimed Cincinnati listed only 4 scouts on their official website, while a franchise like the Philadelphia Eagles employed more than 3 times that number. Now, to be fair, Cincinnati has since expanded its personnel operation. The organization brought in experienced scouts Josh Hinch and Tyler Ramsey before the 2025 season, and they also gave Andrew Johnson a new title as scouting executive. That's a genuine step toward building out a more robust department. But those additions didn't soften Cowherd's overall assessment one bit. Since he's joined the Bengals' worst run game in the NFL, Cowherd said. Since he's joined the Bengals, the average offensive line 27th. Colin, what about the defense? No, that's second worst. Everything's awful. Here's the uncomfortable truth behind Cowherd's criticism. The Bengals have absolutely surrounded Burrow with premier receiving talent over the years, but their attempts to stabilize the offensive line, the defense, and the running game have produced consistently mixed, often disappointing results. That uneven roster construction has repeatedly forced Burrow and the passing offense to essentially win high-scoring shootouts rather than relying on a balanced, complete team effort. Cowherd genuinely believes these organizational failures have placed an unfair burden squarely on Burrow's shoulders. They don't spend money and they're only winning by track meet, Cowherd said. Defense is bad. Burrow identifying an elite receiver back in 2021 is a nice feel-good bonus story. But Cincinnati continually needing its franchise quarterback to single-handedly compensate for shortcomings across the rest of the roster is considerably less flattering when you actually sit down and think about it. So what's your take? Is Cowherd being fair, or is he oversimplifying a much more complicated roster-building process? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.